You sound like a influencer.
You know what? I'm just gonna take 2024 on by the horns. Just fuck it all year because I'm gonna win.
I
Win
feel like
big.
if you do that, I feel like you can get arrested by
Honestly,
2025.
it's crazy because you're like
Alpha
your
male.
persona is
I'm gonna
like
win big.
is like this 20-year-old kid that's like it's like Trey at 20. I'm a fuck shit and win big and I'm
gonna
great.
Win big, boys.
Kick it.
Let's do this.
Bam.
Let's get all the money, boys. Nah, to be honest, I don't like making resolutions because then you just set yourself up for failure. So what I like to do is implement little changes, throughout the year. So maybe this year I'll implement new wardrobe, different style, aesthetic, more paint, less hate. Not from me. I meant from Sean.
Just in general. Oh, okay.
He was hating on my paint pants. Yeah, I think I just want to step out of the go bigger with aesthetics.
Okay. So aesthetics, like any personal goals or anything like that?
Same thing we always do, Pinky. Take over the world.
So more of the same?
Yeah, and I don't want to. I heard it. I don't want to change too much because it's like. Do you like
Not
resolutions?
change yourself, but it's like,
Yeah,
what,
implement
is there
yeah.
any behaviors you want to implement? Any personal goals type of thing? Like,
Yes, I got one big one. Like I said, I want to really learn how to cook really well.
Oh, that was what you said.
I really want to learn how to cook, like cook.
You gonna do like a new recipe every week or something? How you gonna hold yourself accountable to this?
That's good.
accountability is a very important thing.
It's a bitch.
Yeah, I think I gotta at least try something out the box and 100% make to finish from scratch. So like I'll probably start with like baking because I can kind of bake a little bit. So I'll start with like learning how to make like doughs and stuff again.
Those are pretty easy. Like that's
Exactly,
super. That's very like easy to
So I'll
accomplish.
start
I
with
think
like
easy to-
doughs and stuff. Easy, minimal ingredients.
Trade-dough.
Yeah, trade-dough. Minimal ingredients. Try to master, flour, egg, and water type shit. Maybe go up to pasta. Then use the same skills I've learned. Then change that to pasta.
So
Then,
you're gonna be a bread bender?
ooh,
You can be a yeast bender.
Yeasty boys. I mean, that's what you need unless you want to do like sourdough and stuff. Like, yeah, you got to use yeast. You can
No,
become
I
a
wasn't
yeasty boy.
saying either that. I was thinking of something else.
You can
Just
make some
affection.
like
Well, you don't want.
you can make
less of that.
some donuts.
Doja nuts.
That doesn't seem marketable, but if you ever want to run with it, go ahead.
I want to see you do that. I'm here to back you.
They're donut holes.
Yeah. Doja nuts. Are they weed influenced?
Oh, that would be actually a kicker. Doja nuts, and they're donuts that are flavored like different peanuts. So you get like macadamia, almond,
That's just nuts, not peanuts.
but they're donuts
Okay.
that taste like nuts.
Okay.
Doja nuts.
I got it. What about you, Sean? Any New Year's resolutions that you want to implement?
I'm with Trey.
Do you want his nuts?
I don't believe in New Year's resolutions.
Johnny come late. Thief.
How am I a thief? I agree with you.
Oh, agree on.
He's like not used to it, so he's just the
See?
automatic
See?
reaction.
If somebody said that you did something and I agree with you, you just got mad. I'm trying to be on your side and you said no. I was trying to be here for you.
See where you're going?
Don't approve of it.
I don't see where you're going.
All right, Stevie. All right, Stevie. No, yeah, let's just say for all y'all out there that are trying to do New Year's resolutions, that one went out.
We know.
It's been out.
All right. Don't try to do New Year's resolutions and try to change your behaviors because it's gonna fail. Unless you actually really work on a singular behavior. So that being the case, yeah, I'm just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, honestly, and then hopefully keep on like kicking that up more. I read a lot this year, felt really good about that, so I want to add some more books. I don't know. I kind of want to add like maybe at least like $10,000 to my income, like or to my Yeah.
So another
to my income.
grand a month.
Yeah. I think I would like to see the end of the year
It's we can
to
do
be,
that.
I think that's really important. And also just general health. I mean, I like to get back into exercising on a regular basis, but I'm not going to make a New Year's resolution for exercise because that's fucking cliche and trite and like everyone.
Ooh, that was a nice word. Trite.
Yeah.
But sometimes things are trite because they're right.
I mean, the thing is though, like you can't change just because a day ain't going to be the reason why you change. So if anything, if 2023 made me learn anything, it's accept yourself for how you are and for how the shit is. Like you really like however you are, whether the parts about you that you like, that you don't like, the things that drive you crazy, not accept that shit. Like stop fighting it because it ain't gonna change until you accept it, and you won't be able to do anything. And then the other thing is like people really underestimate their behavior patterns. So like don't be a fool. Like if you've been doing something for 20 years, don't expect that you can make a New Year's resolution that you're going to change that thing that you've been doing for 20 years and have it be an easy thing. Like you need to be like very specific on like for instance, like if you're a procrastinator, figure out why you're a procrastinator and why it gets in the way. Don't just tell yourself like, "Oh, I'm going to be better this year."
It's my dad.
Like that shit don't work.
Who's your dad?
I don't know. Those kind of things drive me crazy when people say like, "Oh, this year's going to be different." I'm like,
why?
I'm like, why? Yeah, literally, like, why? Like, why is it gonna be different? Oh, because I said
I'm
so.
saying it.
But like, you have to change deeply. Like, I don't think people realize how deep you have to change shit sometimes.
I am changing deeply.
Like, so for instance, you were a little bit more vulnerable, I would say, this year, especially because of podcasts and certain scenarios, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somebody might say to you, he's not vulnerable at all,
Mm-hmm.
And like that's the
They
thing.
didn't know the threshold I was coming
That's the
from.
thing, yeah. So people need to be like, I think whatever you're dreaming of, you can hold on to that dream, but also be realistic into your changes. So like, I don't know, my New Year's resolutions, I just want to keep on doing.
You just said you didn't want to make any. You just said them right now.
No,
Got him!
False!
Got him!
No.
Got him!
I would say my New Year's resolution,
Got him!
if I were to make them,
Doja nuts.
I would say to stay on the path that I'm on. Like, I'm not trying to change what I'm already doing.
Wise.
Just do it better.
Okay.
Yeah. Suck
Wise
this dick.
words.
Okay. Well, I will
Yeah, what's yours?
heartily disagree with these two. I think you should make New Year's resolutions if you want to, because I think
It's fun
no
to
matter
lie to
what time of year you make like goals, like it's just because around here a lot of people feel like, oh, this is a time I can get a clean
Slate.
start or a good reset. Like if that's the motivation you need, go ahead, because like if you make goals whatever time out the year, like more often than not, like
We, all
we
need a
won't
little
follow
something,
through with them.
yeah.
So like it doesn't really matter the time of year. I'm like, if this is like the motivation you need, do it. Because like last year I said I wanted to be more assertive with my voice and kind of like, I mean, we started doing the podcast. Like I was very like,
Think
it
you
wasn't
lived
even,
live the truth.
it wasn't even like to be out there or whatever, like make money. It was like,
Just to do
because like I'm not like I am. Yeah. I'm like intimidated with like showing my face, like getting my picture taken, like
you were, and now
having my like just even like having my
It's
voice
free.
out there, and like
Free
that
as a
was
bird.
it was like a, kind of like a low key
Little
resolution I
liberating,
made,
huh?
and
Little
so like
liberating.
I'm doing it, and like why not? And like I think this year it's more. Not more of the same. It's like I think I'd like to exercise
on
more
the same-
regularly. I'd like to be a little more creative in terms of like my production and like
That's
just making
never
things,
the
whether it's for
best.
myself or other people.
I saw the mirror.
I'm about to challenge this shit, and I'm just waiting.
What?
No, keep on going.
Gimme.
What are you gonna do? What like you say you want to be like more creative? Like, what are you gonna do?
I actually want to do. I don't want to just like
but
plan it.
That's the thing. Like you say you want to do. So this is my problem with resolutions. Is like people say what they want to do, but they don't be like.
Well, I'll define it right now. I want to like make time each week because like I've been saying
You're
that
still
all
phrasing
year.
it wrong. You got to say I am.
No, not even that. Like, what you gonna like? You say you want to make time, but like, what in the way? What right now is getting in the way of you making time? What's gonna be different between this week and next week? Like, what is taking your time now that's getting in the way? And why
The
is next
difference
week gonna be
between
different?
this time and next week is like I actually do it.
But what are you gonna do to do it? That's what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like what time of the year it is.
Are you just
like,
gonna
and I'm
schedule
gonna,
time?
like-
Is it gonna be like after I brush my teeth, I'm gonna fucking do that thing, or is it just gonna be like I'm gonna figure out? It's just gonna happen.
well, some of it has to do with this podcast and stuff, and I'm going to talk to you guys after this recording. But it's like, yeah, I want to like. I think I always get wrapped up in like the whole idea of things, and I like the whole thing that I think is intimidating because I'm like, oh, after work, I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I don't want to like have that pressure of like, oh, the self-imposed pressure of like,
Not doing
if
it?
I didn't do it this day, like I feel bad, like whether that's. And I'm like, I want to like release that pressure on myself, and I just want to do it. Like, and I don't want to make it like, oh, I have to set aside hours each time.
Just
I'm like,
and I get what
15,
you're saying because
15,
it's like-
25.
But I get
30
what, I get what
minutes,
you're
like-
both saying because he's saying what's gonna make you do that, and you're just saying,
Well, and
I know
like,
I've got to do
whether
it.
whether it's this year or the next, it's like it's always yourself that's always holding you back.
Totally.
And I know that, and like I'm very aware of that. And it's like I think I have to be kinder to myself in the future.
Do you think
Into
allow
like
more grace?
yeah, that's the thing. I could like I give everybody else grace except myself, and I think we talked about that. And like I really need to be kinder to myself in the new year. If I don't do something, like don't feel so bad about it. But I also don't want to. I also want to be a little more strict on myself into like be like we were talking like, oh, at least I cooked today. That's something.
Yeah.
Then it's like
Yeah.
I want to read, I want to journal more,
Yeah.
I want to do this, I want to do that, and like I want to I don't want to like set aside time for that. I just want to do it.
To have
So like I'm
You
just
wanna
gonna
do
step
it.
in from that on the side of like somebody who I mean I don't want to call myself a psychologist, but I'm gonna step into the side of knowing like it doesn't work that way. Like I can just be honest with you. When you say like I just want to do it, it doesn't work that way. The only way that change works is you literally being like I'm gonna put this thing here and I'm gonna do it no matter what. Like, so for example, like people when they want to exercise, right? And they want to say, I'm gonna wake up and exercise. What they'll do is they'll put all their exercise clothes out right next to them. And when they wake up, they put their phone across the room on top of their exercise clothes. So when the phone goes off, they walk over their exercise clothes. They have to engage with it, right? Like it's changing the behavior. And so that's why I'm not saying New Year's resolutions are bad, but they put a pressure on people that's not realistic because it's like I'm going to change these things, but it's like I don't think people realize the actual power of their behaviors that they already have. Like it's deep, you know? So it's like if you want to like
But it is a realistic pressure. It's realistic. Just most people.
But, like, if you wanna-
don't do it.
Well,
But,
because
like, if
the
you
only
wanna,
thing that
like-
makes it a resolution and behavior change, like I'm vocalizing it because
Yeah.
I could do these things, and like it wouldn't be a resolution. But if I'm saying it, then it's a resolution. But
I mean, that's
whether
just-
if I
did
do
it
it,
come from? Did that come from like resolving the year with new intentions?
I think it probably comes back to a pagan ritual. I'll be honest with you, like new moons, new harvests, like planting seasons, whatever. I think that's what it comes to. But it's like the difference between like if I said it or not, like if I do it or I don't do it,
Yeah.
like whether it's a New Year's resolution or not, like
Doesn't make, that doesn't
I'm
make
like
a difference.
I'm vocalizing it as a New Year's resolution, but it's like it's a goal
To do,
If I
yeah.
didn't say if it was a resolution,
It would still be a goal.
like it's a goal, would
Mm-hmm.
you be like denouncing the practice of a goal as much as a New Year's resolution?
No, I just think that people say those things too lightheartedly and don't understand the actual like. I think humans, me, everybody that like, I think all of us are way too like, that we live in like dream worlds in terms of what we want and how hard it is to change. So, for instance,
well, goals.
but
People hit goals.
yeah, but
you know what I mean. But a lot
you
of
can
people
hit,
fail resolutions.
but you can hit a goal that you already you can hit a
You
goal
hit
that you
goals all the
already
time.
know, but you can hit a goal that you already know what to do. Like people
Yeah.
are like, I'm gonna hit my goal. So like, let's take for your sense, like your cooking thing, right? Like, I would tell you that you have a greater chance of doing that if you said once a week on this day, I'm always gonna cook. If you were to set that up, so every Wednesday I'm gonna cook, and every Monday I pick the thing I'm gonna cook on Wednesday, and every Tuesday I made sure I got the shit that I'm gonna need for Wednesday. If that was your plan, you did it every single time, then you can keep up with it. because you actually have something that you've planned out and you tie it to things that you're going to do.
But we creatives, I don't like to think like that.
That's also the way of keeping each other, like keeping
I know.
us safe. You know what I mean? Like,
Schedules.
well, for instance, take this podcast, for instance, right? Like, it's a scary thing to do to make a podcast because people will always have comments and shit, and like you want it to be any artistic thing, you want it to be something, but for it to be that thing, it takes a lot of like kind of go big or go home mentality, and you got to really put yourself into it and all that stuff. And to do that means you have to step out of being safe, and to step out of being safe, you have to step out of your behaviors that are keeping you safe, right? But those behaviors aren't necessarily bad; they're just keeping you safe. So when people say I'm going to change this thing, like when people are like, "Oh, I'm going to work out," it's like, yeah, but your behaviors have been not to. So just saying it don't mean shit. Like you actually have to be like, on every Tuesday, I wake up, I'm going to go running no matter what. When I feel sick, when I feel like tired, when I'm hungover, no matter what, I'm going to take myself outside at the very least. And I'm going to go out for a walk or running or whatever that thing is. So if your New Year's resolution is something small but attainable, then by all means, I'm down for it. If your New Year's resolution is like, I'm going to save $100,000 this year, and you've never saved like $5, like that shit ain't going to happen. Like,
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, because it's this time of year, if that was like, these are my goals for 2024,
I'd still ask you the same thing.
yeah, no, but like it makes no difference. But it's because you call them a New Year's resolution that it's like, oh, it's like a setup for failure. But I'm like,
It's like the
whatever you want to call them or not.
Well,
and then it's like it all comes down to follow through, right?
it's
whether it's a New Year's resolution or it's a goal, like it's all semantics.
It's not the failure because New Year's resolution. It's the failure because the same mindset. Like New Year's resolution are built on the same mindset that you can say it and it's gonna happen. That's why New Year's resolutions you see so much failure, because people put a lot of money into this idea. Everyone's going to buy like gym passes or like whatever. They put a lot of money into the idea they can do something and change it. If you were saying these goals in January or in July, I would still ask you, okay, cool, but what is it the thing that you're going to change from what you're doing right now to get you to that thing? And I feel like most people on New Year's resolutions don't do that. I feel like most people on New Year's resolutions just think like they're going to be like, oh, well, because I said I'm going to work out now and I bought my shoes, I'm going to work out. It's like, no, like, what's stopping you right now? And that thing that's stopping you, how are you going to remove it from your path so you can continuously go towards it? So, like,
I'm not trying to heal. I'm just trying to resolve
what?
resolutions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, because you take the resolutions, resolve to continue to do good practices, change an undesired trait or behavior, accomplish a personal goal or otherwise. So, like, there's different, like, layers of that. Like if you were like, my New Year's resolution was to drink enough water, like it's simple as that, I would still ask, okay, how are you gonna, like, are you carrying a bottle around you that you didn't do before? Are you gonna put are you gonna put an alarm on that every day the alarm goes off and you're gonna check where your water is? Like, what's the thing that's gonna get it? Like, I'm speaking about this being somebody who's like a very big procrastinator, and I never do the shit that I'm going to do. So, but I'm saying that from a space where I'm like, I realize that. Like, I realize when I say things out loud like that, but I don't get to them, it's because I haven't changed the actual behaviors or things that really need to get me to that point.
Yeah, I'm very aware of, like, I'm under no illusion that, like, I need to do, like, I don't need to, like, for any of these changes in behavior, I don't need to buy anything. I don't need, it's all doing. Yeah. It's like everything is all already around me. And because I remember when I was talking to you about like exercising more, and I was like, at first, like, setting the exercise, like the shoes and the thing for running,
right?
It'd be like right next to me. And like, that didn't change anything. It was like, it was all about me being
just doing it.
Aware of, like, I said I wanted to do this and I'm going to do it, rather than like, oh, I'm tired today. And that's all it comes down to, is like, it is
accountability
of self-accountability. Like, oh, I said I want to do this. So it's like, but I'm not going to make it like I have to do it by this. And then if not, I'm like, if I don't do it more, I'm a failure. Like, I always want,
but I feel like that makes the easy way for it to fail. I feel like when we set New Year's resolutions where we say, like, I also am going to allow myself to be like kind of soft, I feel like that sets up to fail. Like I feel like you really can't do that. Like I honestly think like I hear what you're saying and I understand that, but like if you're just trying to say to yourself like, oh, this time, you know, like I'll speak from a personal experience. Like if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write, but I haven't, and then all of a sudden like, well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna write, and this time it's gonna be different because I said it. It's not, because the brain literally, like, people underestimate their brain, man. Like it's gonna make it. You're gonna choose the thing that's the easiest path generally to what makes you feel good, and until change is greater than that thing, you ain't gonna change. Like we're not.
But that's
change.
the whole thing is like, because it's like, yes, vocalizing and doing, but it's like when you say like I'm gonna change, like I think some people need that, because like if you don't have it, like,
I think
if you're just thinking it,
I think if you
like,
say it towards friends and they hold you accountable, that's one thing. I think if you say it towards yourself, personally, I don't think it matters. I'm not saying that.
well, yeah, that's what
vocalizing-
I'm in agreement. Like I'm saying, like this is a personal goal. It's like it's only because it's now, like the goals you have, it becomes a New Year's resolution. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's like, I think it's like a lifelong goal that I want to do throughout my life. I want to exercise more. I want to create more.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that could be like set up for failure because it's being soft. It's no hard boundaries. But it's like, I think it's almost like defeatist to like, oh, you shouldn't have goals. You should just do it. You know what I mean?
No, I think you should have goals, and I think you should make sure that you supply yourself with all of the necessities that you need to get to those goals. So, like, if, for instance, if you're a kid out there and you want to work on your jump shot, then you make sure that like you have a set time. You make sure that no matter like you are working on that, not just when you feel good, not just when the weather's okay, not just when you have the energy. No, you gotta make sure that every single day you're going out there working on your jump shot, whatever it is. Like if you want to work on your relationship, right? You gotta make sure that even that no matter what, like if you're working on communication, you setting time aside to practice that communication work, not only when it kind of pops up, because then like Trey, imagine you playing for a club team, but you only practicing when it felt good.
Yeah, because you got to train, you got to practice, you got to put in a lot of work.
But also, like, no matter what, you had scheduled days, right?
Yep.
And no matter what, you went to those days, right?
Yep.
Because if you didn't show up, what would happen?
You ain't playing.
That's it. And I think that's what people don't get. Is like you actually do have to kind of set some walls up for yourself, and like it's really hard because for the majority of us, we were talking about last week with procrastination, but just in general, like that shit's scary. Like that's just how simple it is. Like putting your whole soul into something and putting all the time into that thing and not knowing how it's going to come out is scarier than softly doing it. Because if you softly do it and you halfway do it, it's always like, well, I didn't fully engage in that, and it's a soft kind of thing. And I feel like that's how New Year's resolutions generally go for people. That's my
Yeah, no, I mean, like, because it's like, and I've been saying this too, like to myself, and like for me, like because my exercise would be running, and it's like this is the hardest time of the year, like relatively, because it's LA, so it's not that crazy winter, but it's like we got thin skin over here, like it's
Just
cold,
to get out.
it's rainy. It's like it's dreary. Like it gets, it's like
It's dark
It's
early.
dark,
Dark
like
early,
6
dude.
o'clock. So
Fuck-
it's like,
fucks you up.
like this is like my time to like, if I'm gonna prove anything to myself, it'd be
Hibernation. Yeah, it
now,
would be
because it's
now,
like
yeah.
I'm gonna get myself to the reservoir to run 4 miles in like pitch black, and if I do it, like that's doing something, because
See,
it's like
that's you holding yourself accountable, though. And to
That's-
hold
yeah,
yourself
that's what I'm
accountable,
saying.
I would say for you, though, to hold yourself accountable, there must be something that's triggering you to hold yourself accountable. Like there must be something that you're setting up as triggering you, whether that is a mental note,
Or
whether
physical.
whether that's a physical thing, whether that is a voice in your head that's working because you've already done it, because you're a runner, you have ran before.
He's a runner. He's
It's
a
not
track
like
star.
it's not like you're running after like 5
yeah,
years.
I'm not
running,
just
you know?
like, oh, I'm gonna
Wanna
run this
become
year.
a runner,
No,
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
not vocalizing all of my like my obstacles and like my parameters that like have. I'm just not vocalizing that part. I'm just like vocalizing the goals.
The goals.
Yeah.
Like I'm like completely aware of like all of the things.
But I think you do those things. I mean, what I'm saying is like, cause you run there, and when you run, the times when you're running, you're setting yourself up for success to run. Whatever that means, whatever that looks like, you've given yourself the things to do. if it's you making music, I feel like you've set yourself up. Whereas that if I'm writing, it's because I did something to get myself to be able to put a pen onto paper.
Yeah, you're not just like I want to be a writer. You're
Yeah.
already a writer.
Yeah. But you
Like,
have to, I have
whereas
to
it's
make
like,
myself
yeah.
time though, or else
Yeah.
I'm like a guy who still talks about the band he was in back.
Yeah,
in
this is like
fucking-
this is like me. I have to set boundaries with my work, and like like when I'm off, like at 5:30,
You're
I need
off.
to be off unless I have like
Yeah.
yeah.
that's is like even like I have a crazy deadline. Like I still have to say like I'm off at this time. This is like me
It's
setting a
healthy.
boundary with like my work life, like, and then I have to make time for that. Like this is all like holding yourself accountable.
I think with that though too, you start knowing your worth when you start doing shit like that.
I agree.
Because if you're like,
Mm-hmm. Very good point.
you're just like, okay, I work here, so I might as well just, if they need it, I might as well just do it.
Yeah.
Like, no, then if they need it, they might as well just pay you more.
Yeah. Well, and you can trade. You
But
learn how
that's
to
what
trade.
I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you give them what they're giving you. It's like an
Yeah.
equal. It shouldn't be a one-sided, thing. It shouldn't be you giving them your all just to get a minimal return.
You know how to ask for what your worth is, kind of thing.
And if you don't get it, then don't give.
yeah.
Find
Yeah.
somewhere else. Mhm.
You want to do a 2024 power round? What are you most
What's that?
excited for? Where do you want to travel to in 2024?
Japan, Tokyo, Texas, New Orleans, Mexico.
All right. Those are good ones. What about you?
So I was actually thinking because I was like, oh, I want to do like a New York trip or something.
Yeah.
But like that's like I
Like
like
do that on the weekend.
realistically, no, like I want to be there for like a week or something.
Oh, you want to be
Like
there
that's
for a
like
week.